Series is a series of videos where we build AI agents in the space of relationship management mainly, but to some extent we will also build AI agents just to learn how to build AI agents. My name is Frederike and I'm a non-techie, so I learned everything that I learned here by myself. And the idea is to give all of us a bit of a better understanding about AI agents, what they do, how we can build them, and how we can best use them in the context of relationship management. As said, especially in the very first videos, we started yesterday with a series. Some of those videos will also be about, in general, how to build AI agents. And then we will go more and more into relationship management, sales, marketing, how we can build connections, how we can build networks, how AI can support us in these endeavors. Yesterday, I started with a series of ChatGPT and asking it to send me a task of building an AI agent every day. And this was the idea of starting with that and having AI in that sense. ChatGPT sent me an automated task every single day to build an AI agent. The problem, however, is that on the first day, ChatGPT created and asked me about an AI agent that didn't even connect it to any kind of Gen AI at all. And I feel this is a bit outdated. And even though I put on the search, this is a German ChatGPT, so it says Suche, but it basically means searching the internet. And in that case, I actually asked it to say, hey, can you please search the internet and use cutting edge AI tools and AI frameworks that are currently on the market? But I didn't really get it. And the task that it then created afterwards, after I made all of these changes, was very similar to the one that it created before. And it says developing a sentiment analysis AI agent. It gave me all of these step-by-step processes of how to do it. But if we scroll down, we see that there's nothing about anything Gen AI. It's a very, very basic AI agent. And to be honest, I was a bit disappointed. And so I decided it's not a good idea to learn AI agents with the help of ChatGPT, at least not in that sense. There might be obviously variations where we can say, okay, if we know how to use ChatGPT and if we know specific frameworks, we might ask ChatGPT more specifically to search about these frameworks and also to search the documentation and in that sense help us to create AI agents. But that seems a bit far-fetched, especially in the beginning where we don't have that much information yet and we don't know exactly how to build those AI agents. For that sense, we closed ChatGPT. Then I tried this exactly the same thing with DeepSeek and said, hey, DeepSeek, let's create AI agents. I gave it a long text. It gave me all its thoughts, and then it created a 40-day curriculum to build AI agents. Again, I felt these AI agents were a bit, I would say, lousy, or we could also say a bit basic. So it says, okay, build a basic AI email responder, a LinkedIn connection suggestion, sales lead qualifier, and so on. I think these are really good, and we will definitely come to them later. But I felt, okay, there also we need to go into more detail about how to build them. So we will definitely do this over the next days and going more into, excuse me, going more into DeepSeek and building all of those AI agents because I think they're really good. So build a basic AI email responder and so on. And yet I was like, okay, that's interesting. It's a good start, but maybe there are other tools that we can use too. And while I was searching the internet, I was finding a tool called Langbase. And Langbase is a framework where you can build AI agents. And so this video will be me trying out Langbase. I haven't used Langbase before. The only thing that I did, and I will show you in a second, is that I started to set it up in a way that we can easily use it. And then I found another tool and framework where we can learn how to use Langbase to create AI agents and AI agent web apps. And that's what we will be doing today. It will be not so much about relationship management. It will be more about understanding Langbase and understanding the base environment of how we can do those AI agents. But I'm pretty sure it will help us immensely to better understand how these AI agents are built. And more importantly, also to then build more relationship-based AI agents in the future. So then we can go back into those AI agents that DeepSeek suggested us and have a better understanding of how we might even be able to build them faster using Langbase. So let's check out Langbase. I know there are a lot of other tools on the market as well that allow us to build AI agents. So we will go through them one by one and check out which of them works best, and also for the use cases that we have in mind. But with that, let's get started, and I give you an overview of what I already did, and then we can get started and build those AI agents for today. So here, Langbase is a serverless AI developer platform. It's the most powerful serverless platform for building AI projects, how they're framing it themselves, and Base AI, the first web AI framework for developers. So we will be working with Base AI today, where we will then learn how to create web apps and web AI for one specific AI agents. And then it says build agentic pipes, memory, and tools. And we will go into more detail what exactly that means. But here is, you can see a bit of an overview. So it says pipe is a serverless AI agent. So basically when we talk about pipe, we are nothing else than talking about AI agent. It has agentic memory and tools, deploy thousands of serverless agent pipes as easily as a website, build at scale AI experiences powered by industry-leading 250 plus LLMs and tools. So it's a serverless AI agent, and it basically has functions, and their functions and their agents, and the agents are based on the prompt, instructions, personalization, and an engine. The memory is a managed search engine as an API for developers. Imagine an all-in-one serverless RAG with vector store, file storage, attribution data, parsing and chunking, and semantic similarity search engine. And then we have tools, and tools or functions calling. Function calling allows you to connect LLM models to external tools and systems. This is useful for many things, such as empowering AI agents with capabilities or building deep integrations between your applications, APIs, and the models. And now it also gives us some ideas of what these tools can be. So let's say it's useful for a large number of use cases where you can get an AI agent pipe to do things like connect to databases, fetch data, take actions. So for example, schedule meetings, perform computations, build workflows, modify UI, and much more. And I think this will be especially helpful when we build then AI agents more and more with this framework and also with other frameworks. So what I did is I looked at Langbase. We can close this now. And I signed up. When you sign up, and I think I had this open. Let me quickly see if I had this open. No, I already closed it. But you can easily sign up, for example, with GitHub. So I signed up with GitHub. So now you also see my GitHub account here if you want to have a look. Not everything is public, but I just signed up very easily with GitHub, but you can also do it via emails. And once we do that, we see this environment, and I haven't played around much yet with it. There's only one thing that I changed, and this is that I went into settings. And in settings, I went to LLM API keys as well as Langbase API keys. And in LLM API keys, what you can be doing is to add all of those AI keys or API keys for your different AI models. So I added the one for OpenAI, Anthropic, and DeepSeek because these are the three that I'm currently using. But obviously that's free for you to decide which one you want to put in here. And then I also created one API for the Langbase, which we will be using today when we build this AI agent. And this is only for test purposes. So after the video, I will directly delete this API key and use another one. This is what I did so far. Then we have the pipes, memory, models, and explore, and the rest we will find out. One thing that I found very amusing and very interesting, and I didn't know about it, and I just want to show it to you, and other AI agent models that we can use in the future. So for the DeepSeek one, I wanted to use the DeepSeek API. So I created the DeepSeek API. And what I saw here was a DeepSeek AI. They're mentioning about several awesome DeepSeek integrations, how they call it. And if you go down for the applications, at some point we go in AI agent frameworks, and we can see that there are several AI agent frameworks that they are suggesting. I actually have not heard of any of them. But as said, I'm not coming from a techie perspective, but from a non-techie perspective trying and going deeper into the techie environment and better understanding how AI agents are built. And so these are different AI agent frameworks that we can have a look in later as well. But let's go back to Langbase. So there's also an AI email agent we will be building at another time because it requires, and I saw this with Langbase, several AI agents. And as I said, I never used this platform before, so I don't want to overextend the complexity of this video and also the complexity for all of us to follow along here. So this is an overview, pipe, and so on. We won't do this in detail, but what we will be doing is we will be going to Base AI. Base AI helps us to build those web apps rather quickly. And Base AI is connected to Langbase, as you can see. It's using Langbase. So we will also be using Langbase. And what we will be doing is that we follow this tutorial here, and we will basically create a summarizer pipe. And let's see how far we come. And then maybe we will run some of those too as well, but we definitely run our first pipe, so our first AI agent. So we get started with a tool with Langbase to better understand how we can use this as a tool, and then we can take it from there. So with that, let's get started and let's see how we can configure and build our first summarizer pipe. So we go into, let's quickly go getting started. It says how we can do this. So build an agentic AI pipe with tools. Learn how to build an agentic AI pipe with tools in memory. And here it says, welcome to the Learn Base AI course. We use Node.js as an example, but there are several other production-ready examples in our open source repo. Check out the example to see how to use Base AI in your project. Okay, so it asks us to create a directory in our local machine and navigate to it. Run the following command in the terminal. So we will be doing this. So we will be going into, let's put this here. So we had here our relation chatbot from the first day. We now go to, we quickly quit this. And then now we will be going file into new window. We will be closing this window. And then what I normally do, I don't use this one, I use the command line. And I go here, I have a folder, all for agents. So I normally go into this folder. I copy the link to this folder. Then I go out again. I go into this command. We will just quickly close it. And we open it again. This is a German laptop, so it's this one. And then normally I do this one so that we are going now, we are in the agents folder. And once we are in the agents folder, we can now create our My AI project. So we go this. So we make the directory and then we also move into that directory. So now we have My AI project. Now we go npm init y. So we now put this in. Now we have to wait a bit. I don't really know what npm init y stands for. So if I don't know this, you know what I can do? I can go, for example, we can use ChatGPT for that. But let's use Claude because Claude is normally a bit better in programming. And now you see it already wrote to this My AI project package JSON, a specific elements here, the name, My AI project, the version, it's index.js, scripts. I mean, there's nothing really in there yet. Keywords, author, and so on. So we can ask like Claude, npm init, what does this mean for a project and project folder just created with nothing else in there yet. And then we can see, we wait a bit. And then we see what it does. It creates a default package JSON file in your project folder with standard configuration settings. The Y flag automatically answers yes to all prompts instead of asking you questions interactively. This package JSON will include project name, version, and so on. So that's what we learned. This is what we figured out. So that's great. So now we can npm install .env. This will be our environment variables. We can put them in. So now we see that it added this one package and ordered it to other ones. So now we are great to go. This command will create a package JSON. Look, we could have just read this too. File in your project directory with default values. You will also install .env package to read environment variables from the end file. So now let's create our summarizer AI. So learn how to create and so on. 1. Navigate to your project directory, run the following command. So now we can also copy it here. We copy it and we put this in here, and then we will run this. So it will ask you for the name, description, other details of the pipe step by step. Once you're done, your pipe will be created successfully at Base AI pipe Summarizer.ts. The question is, I have no idea about the name, description, other details of the pipe step by step. So let's see. Okay to proceed. Yes, we are okay to proceed. I think it already did that. So it will need to install these. So it says, once you're done, your pipe will create it successfully at Base AI pipe Summarizer.ts. That's interesting because I have no idea how it does that. But let's see what it does. So it now here creates some of these NPMs. Base AI pipe Summarizer. So maybe it creates this automatically. But I think we have to configure this one then, and we will see what will be happening. Because this is what we are building. We are building a summarization agentic AI pipe, and obviously summarization you can use for everything. So if we think about in the context of relationship management, what is summarization? Summarization can be a summarization of a call that we had, of a meeting that we had, of an email that someone sent us, of a phone call, of a message. So it can be basically everything that is related to something that we talked about with someone or that we wrote to someone, and can get a better understanding of what they said. And interestingly, what we can also figure out later on is to say, if we do a summarization, what do we do with that summarization and how do we want to build it? And how do we bring those different contexts together, and how maybe also summarization can be to some extent subjective, given that we're talking to different people and from a different perspective. So we see that this is still loading. So this takes a bit of time. And as this is like raw and unfiltered, and we go through everything as a beginner so that you learn better of how to use AI agents and how to build them, we have some time in between to fill to make sure that everything works out well. But I have to say Base AI is a great AI tool, at least so far. I skipped through the lines beforehand just to see if I need to do something very explicitly here. And as said, created some of these AI APIs beforehand, just to make sure that we don't have to go through all of these tools, especially because API agents, obviously, or APIs, so an API to an OpenAI tool or an Anthropic or DeepSeek tool is something that is used on a regular basis. So I can't share that with you. And you also, if you do that, should never share that with others. So now we see it made some changes. Base AI is not installed, but required to run. Would you like to install it? Yes. So I didn't click yes, but apparently it did it by itself. So now it's installing the Base AI. And we see that there are a lot of warnings. I'm not always so familiar what to do, but normally as long as there's no error, I would just say, let's go with it, because I'm not sure if we have to go into these much details. I know there are some options where you can do a kind of force installation of specific packages, or like a legacy peer something. What is then depending on either, okay, you just force a package to install, even though there are like some irregularities in how they're dependent to each other's, and so they might not work perfectly. But on the other hand, you can alternatively install an earlier version, which might be better suitable and better working with the other versions that you have on your computer. But this is something, as said, going into a bit more detail. We won't go into this one because our main idea and our main goal here is to install Base AI and then to be able to run the AI agent in that sense, how we call it, the pipe. So you can see this indeed is a bit of a longer process here, and my computer is also a bit of an older version, so this might take especially long. Then on top of that, the internet is not as amazing. So again, we lose some time here, but I think once we have installed it, we are then able to really create those AI agents, and we'll also be able to better understand how they are built and how once we build the summarizer pipe or AI agents, how we can then build upon that and build more and more of those AI agents. Now we see it added the base AI, it installed it successfully. Name of the pipe, AI agent pipe. I think now we have to give it a name. So let's give it a name and call it Summarizer. We'll just call it Summarizer. Let's go with that one. Maybe Summarizer AI agent. Okay, can only contain letters, numbers, dots, and hyphens. So apparently we don't do this. Summarizer AI agents. Description of the pipe. This is a pipe to summarize. I don't really know what we summarize, but let's just say this is a pipe to summarize content. Status of the pipe. Well, we can make it public. I'm not sure if you will like it, given the fact that this is just a test pipe, but let's make it public. System prompt, you are a helpful AI assistant. Yeah, I'm not sure if we should add some system prompt here, one very specific. Let's keep it that way. I hope we can later change that. I mean, I would say you are a helpful AI assistant, and you are obviously here to make sure that you summarize content in the best possible way. But for now, let's leave it as it is and follow the tutorial. So now we see the pipe Summarizer AI agent created as a new pipe. Summarizer AI agent. So now we have agents, my AI project, base AI pipe, Summarizer AI agent.ts. And now we see base AI pipes, summarizer.ts. So maybe I should have just called it summarizer, but whatever. Now we have it as it is. So now it's a very long one. So now with that, in the next Learn guide, you will configure the summarizer pipe we created. So let's click next. So now we learn this. Now we can view the summarizer pipe, navigate to your project directory and open the pipe you created. You can find it at, obviously we can't find it at summarizer because we call it summarizer AI agent, but I guess it's very similar. So let's do that. And let's quickly, instead of using it here in the command line, let's go to the Visual Studio Code. I use it because I think at this point I like it to see it a bit more clear. What we do is File, we open a folder, and we go into our desktop, we go into Agents, and we click My AI Project. We set this up. And now we can see here we have base AI. I don't really know why we have base AI twice here, once with a dot. But if we go to base AI, we go to pipes, and here we have our Summarizer AI agent, and it looks rather similar to what we find here. We have the constant pipe Summarizer AI agent. So probably this is like what it is because I call it Summarizer AI agent, so Summarizer would have been enough. Then we see the API key. So this is here where we have to put in the API key for the Langbase. We will do this later in likely the .env, which we have not yet created. Our base AI example. We have a description. This is a pipe to summarize content. Status, model. So this is we use OpenAI GPT 4.0 mini. Then this is what we probably have to better understand exactly how it works. Stop, top choice. And we can also see here that the messages, the bold system and content, your helpful AI assistant, we can actually change later on here as well in this specific constant. So let's go back, and it has it in a similar way. It says a pipe that summarizes content makes it less wordy. Okay, this is how we do. And you see here, replace with your API key, HTTP, and so on. So this is API key. We do this in a second. And I think we have to do this. But yeah, we can put this in later because I also want to find out if we can put this in the end file. because we uploaded and installed the .env. But for now, let's do it in that way. Then update the summarizer pipe. Let's add the following system prompt to the pipe. We will also update the pipe name from pipe name to pipe summarizer. So we see update. So what does it change? It changes pipe summarizer, import pipe I, the API key, the name is the summarizer. So let's make these changes in our Visual Studio Code too. So this will be coming a bit small, but we will put this in here. And then we will put the Visual Studio Code along here. We make this a bit smaller so we can, no, not this way. We make this, excuse me. We make this a bit smaller. We put this in here. And so now what we can do is we can see, okay, pipe I, pipe summarizer. Let's call this differently. I hope this works so we're not destroying it. If we call it differently, name, maybe we just give it a name, summarizer. We say pipe summarizer. You see this is having a problem now. So I think maybe we should not do that. I'm not so sure if this is a good idea. So let's keep it as it is, but let's change the description and say a pipe that summarizes content. It is less wordy. So this should not destroy anything. Okay, I know why. Probably because constant pipe summarizer AI agent. So if we, let's quickly check if we do this way. And now we have a problem, but if we change this over here as well, then it works again. So basically we can make these changes. We just have to make sure that this whole constant or this function is aligned. And now we can also change the name and just call it summarizer. Now we save it, Control S. Now we have it saved. What else do we have to make sure? The messages, it wants to have different messages. So let's do that. We make this a tiny bit bigger here so we can see this. We go down here. We go down here. And the content here. And then this one goes in here. And this one goes in here. And now the content is URL content summarizer and so on. So we copy paste this one here. And as we said before, it makes sense to change this to something more specific without losing context into a less wordy, to the point version. Okay, so now we are done. Let's go back into here and figure out what's the next step. So we already figured this one out. We updated our summarizer. We go to next. And now we integrate the summarizer pipe in Node.js. So basically in our app and application. So we have to create a TypeScript file and we create an index.ts file in your project. You can use the following command. So I have not used this command at all beforehand. So let's see what happens. What we do is we open a terminal. We say new terminal. Let's quickly wait. So now we put touch index.ts. Oh, this works perfect. So now we have here index.ts. And the import the summarizer pipe. In this index.ts file, import the summarizer pipe you created. We will use the pipe primitive from Base AI core to run the pipe. Add the following code to index.ts. So we copy this whole code and we will put it in here. And let's quickly see summarizer. So Base AI pipe summarizer. So we see there's an issue because this is called summarizer AI agent. So we have to make sure agent, and now we see that it's not read anymore, so that we are linking it to the right pipe. So we can quickly see what do we import. We import the .env config, so the .environment. We import the pipe and get runner from Base AI core, and we import the pipe summarizer from pipe AI, pipe summarizer, and in our case summarizer/AI/agent. Then we have here the pipe. We have the user messages. So Langbase Studio is your playground to build, collaborate, and deploy AI. It allows you to experiment with your pipes in real time. with real data, store messages, and truly helps you take your ideas from building prototypes, deploy in production with LLM ops on usage, cost, and quality. So I would say it just gives us some ideas about themselves. A complete AI developer platform, collaborate, invite all team members to collaborate on the pipe, build AI together, and all your RD, team, engineering, product, go-to-market, literally involve every stakeholder can collaborate on the same pipe. It's like a powerful version of GitHub plus Google Docs for AI. Well, this is what they give us here. I'm not sure if this is necessarily what we need, but let's put it that way. And I think it just wants us and the AI agent to basically summarize that. Async function. So we have here, I have not totally understanding how it works. But it says method 1 using event listeners. And so it says we have added a user message to the pipe. We will use this message to test the pipe. We will also use the pipe1 method with stream true to stream the text into the terminal. Okay, so we should be able to see it in the terminal. Now it says step 3, add OpenAI API key in env. Since we are using an OpenAI model, your OpenAI key is required. Please create an .env file in the root directory and using the following command. So again, we learn touch.env file. So we go and copy, we click here, and we see now we have this environment variable. And now here we have to add our OpenAI API key. So we will add this API key now, because we basically have to do this. So what we will be doing is we're going to OpenAI API. And what you're seeing is API keys. So you see all of these API keys are already created, and we will create one as a test. So test base sentiment. We will delete this afterwards, so it will be just a default project. We create a secret key. We copy this one, we say done, and we go over here and we replace this key into here. So we just replace this in here. So now we have our key. So now let's quickly close this, go back into here. We have our OpenAI API key. So now we can go back into our pile. We close the nodes. We go into our index. And let's see what we have to do. So we added this key. Then we click next. Then we can run the summarizer pipe in Node.js. However, we forgot one very important topic. And the very important topic is that we also need to create a Langbase API key. So we currently have the Langbase API key not in here. We can probably put it also in the .env, but we won't do this. So it says replace with your API key process env. So I'm not 100% sure, but I think we have to just put the key in here and then have the explanation mark. But let's see how we do this. We quickly open here our API key. So this is a very long one. We quickly open this one. As said, we will delete this afterwards because this is not something. So now we have our API key. I quickly want to ask AI one question. For API keys, is it normal to put in the end or not? So now just to ask if this is like part of the, okay, is a TypeScript non-null assertion operator for environment variables is generally better to handle potential undefined cases explicitly rather than using this one. Better approach. Okay, so we can use it, we can't use it, but can I use it? Yes, you can use it. It's a valid TypeScript syntax, but it means you're telling the compiler, trust me, this value exists, so only use it if you're completely sure the API key will be there. So we have the API key there, so obviously this will be working. So let's see if this works. what we have to be doing now is, let's quickly go here, run the summarizer pipe, so start the base AI server. So let's do this. No, this is not true. Wait, this is in the wrong place. We put this in here. Okay. Okay, now server running on this one. So let's open the localhost 9000. We quickly move this over here so we are closer to the localhost. And so far it only says success, true message, base AI local API. So now we did this, run the following command in the terminal, then run the pipe with tsx, run the index ts file using the following command. So we will now put this, maybe create, let's try this if this works. No, it doesn't because this is in running. So let's here create a new terminal and then put this in here. Okay, so it says need to install the following processes, packages. So let's do this. Okay. Okay. So now what it does, it will prompt the LLM model to summarize the content. Langbase Studio is and so on. So it happens locally on your machine and the response should be streamed in your terminal. So what does it tell us? Let's quickly go over here. It says Langbase Studio is an AI development platform that enables real-time and experimentation, message storage, prompt versioning, and seamless deployment. It fosters collaboration among R&D teams, engineers, product managers, and stakeholders in a manner akin to GitHub combined with Google Docs for AI projects. We could say this is actually what it summarizes, and this kind of makes sense. Then let's go on. This all happens locally on your machine, and the response should be streamed in your terminal. Now, obviously, it's not yet an app and anything that we can easily use, but to be fair, we already created an AI agent. Let's go next. So now it says, okay, we come now to a new AI agent. In this Learn Guide, we will create a weather tool using Base AI. This is a different agent. So for now, I think we have learned enough for today. We have created an AI agent. Our AI agent very easily does exactly that. It is a summarization AI agent, and what we can be doing is obviously also creating and changing the content that we are putting into our AI agent. So if we're going back to our summarizer AI agent, to our index TS, this is the constant of the user message, what Langbase Studio is. What we can be doing just out of interest is to give a different messaging here and see what the AI comes up with if we change our constant user messages. So let's, for example, say that we want to have, let's say we can have a text, for example, relationship management and building in the age of AI. Let's just see if we find an interesting text. So this obviously is key aspects. I just want to have a nice building authentic business relationships in the age of AI. It's 5 months ago, but let's keep it that way and just use this article. I'm not sure if we can just copy paste it in, but let's try if this works. It's an interesting article. I have no clue what they're talking about, but let's just use this article. A lot of images. We don't need the images. We just need the plain text. So let's not use this one. Let's use this one and say, okay, now we want to have this whole text. We delete that text and we put this additional text in here. I'm not sure if it will be working because we have all of those elements here, but let's do it that way. and say, hey, let's run this again. So what did we run? We run the npx tsx index.ts. We copy this, we put it in here, and let's see if it works. Command not found because we made a mistake. npx tsx index.ts. Let's see if it works, given the fact that we have all of these extra thingies in here. It's still loading. And now we can see it gives us a summary, a very long one though. So I'm not sure if the summary is shorter or not. But it says building authentic business relationships in the age of AI. Over 6 years, I've built valuable and so on. Then it says importance of strong business relationships, tips for lasting business relationships, AI roles in modern relationships, balancing AI with human interactions, ultimately while leveraging technology, and so on. Let's quickly check. Okay, so it definitely is a different text. It does give us a summarization, but it's obviously very long. So what we could also do is now we have the constant user messages. What we can be doing is to say, okay, let's go to the summarizer AI agents and say here, you are a content summarizer. You will summarize content without losing context into less wordy to the point version. So we will say summarize content. You are a content summarizer. You will summarize content to a maximum of 500, let's do 200 words with as many data points as mentioned, data points to make it as effective as possible. It's not really correct, but I just want to see if it brings in some of the data points that I mentioned and if it's able to summarize the content in a maximum of 200 words. So we save this with Control S and let's run this whole command again. So it's what we say npx tsx index.ts. So let's copy this one. Let's put this in here and let's see if it does that. I'm not sure. I think we have like one extra space here, but I think this shouldn't be a problem. So it's learning again. It's starting. And well, I'm not too sure if this is 200 words, very likely not, but we see that it created a more detailed summarization. And we can say, you are a content summarizer, you will summarize content. We can say you are summarizing content so that the summary has maximum of 200 words and is as concisely and clearly written as possible. Okay, let's try it one more time and see if we can improve that here. We save it again, we run our code again, npx tx index ts, npx tsx index.ts. I think I know what the problem is and why it's not working, because what we are changing here is this one, but we are not restarting our own like base AI system here. So the system is still exactly the same as we had before. So what we can be doing, we can close this again. We go back into here, create not a weather tour, but back into our summarizer. And what we do is we run the pipe locally. So what we can do is here we run this base AI server. So we copy this again. And what we do here is first we stop it, base AI server shut. We make sure we save it again. And then we will be running it again. So now we have run it again. And now we can go back into this part here. We have stopped it before. We go into npx tsx tsx index.ts. Let's run it again. And let's see if we see a difference here. No, we don't. So this for sure is not 200 words, I think, or is it? Maybe it is. Let's try it one more time. Maximum of 200 letters. We save it again. We go to bash. We say stop it. Has been gratefully stopped. We make sure we save it all. We go back to our here npx base AI latest dev. We go back here where we are here. Let's quickly wait that we stop this one first too. It stopped automatically. So we can now go in here. We start it again. Okay, now we have started it. Now we run this part again. npx tsx what was index.ts? Oh, excuse me, we made a mistake. Okay, this did not work because we made a mistake. npx tsx index.ts. So this should be working fine. Now let's see. Okay, this looks much better. So basically the problem was that we put 200 words and not 200 letters. And now we have a very more concise and small summary. Obviously, this might be too short for long texts, but it just shows us that we can actually now make changes here. And we can now say, okay, building authentic relationships is essential in the AI age, while tech aids connectivity. Real human interaction fosters trust and collaboration. Balance AI efficiency with genuine connection for success. Streams end. So this is only 200 letters now, but we can see we can make those changes here in our content summarizer, and then obviously also make it more specifically and say, for example, how can we bring out specific elements of this text very specifically to the context of relationship management in AI. And also, okay, what are different approaches so we can write the system message now way more effectively and make it more specific. And in that sense, then we're able to create those summaries. And in one of the next videos, what we will be also doing is how we can build those AI agents and then make them basically available on the internet so that everyone can use them as well. But with that, this is what I wanted to show you today. So what we did is we built now a pipe summarizer. It were just 2, 3, 4 lines of code that we had to do ourselves. Most of the code was already done and we could just copy paste it. And obviously we can create as many of those AI agents that we want to create. And then in the next videos, we go into more details about how we can add tools and how we can add memories so that we can really build those great AI agents and also AI agent teams. No, excuse me. So now you heard me with a bad voice, but if you want to follow me, if you like the videos, I would be very happy if you subscribe. And with that, see you next time.